I call you all to order. January meeting of the RSU 25 School Board. You'd all please join with me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jim, would you please be kind enough to take the roll call?
Mr. Foster,
I am here.
Mr. Burgess.
Here.
Mr. Nealon,
Here.
Mr. Cox,
Here.
Mr. Whitmore,
Here.
Ms. Foster,
Here.
Ms. Safford Dow,
Here.
Mr. Frazier.
Here.
You are all present. You have 8 full members.
This is the time for public participation. If you are here and would like to publicly participate, you can please come up to our wonderful virtual podium. If you are not and would like to publicly participate, you may email for public comment at publiccomment@rsu25.org, or you may phone in for public comment at 307-8099. Seeing as how we don't have anyone sprinting up to the podium, we will move on to adjustments to the agenda.
You do have one, please add JMA, recognition of alumni, community members and benefactors. That was reviewed with the rest of the JMA. It just got left out, so it's ready to go as presented.
I would look for a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December.
I move that we approve the minutes of December 19th, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, and that is unanimous.
Statement.
Oh, yeah, that meeting. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Didn't catch it. Sorry. So that's all the day,
7:01.
right? We have communications and correspondence.
The one communication I have for you that wasn't in your packet, but I received received a notice today that the preliminary FY25 ED 279s are out. And that's a big day in the world. That's where they give us our preliminary general purpose aid. Keyword is preliminary. That's what's going to be presented to the legislature. The governor's going to move forward $1.42 billion general purpose aid funding for the supplemental budget. And this reflects that they're still going to need the 55% share, which is, we've been receiving that, which is great. And it also, the local contribution has decreased from 6.97 mils to 6.62 mils. So I have taken a look at ours. We have seen an increase, not huge, but just under a couple $100,000 increase, which is always nice. Unfortunately, part of me being a little snarky, it'll be enough to cover the required 1% we have to raise for the new law that was passed for leave. You have to put a 1% tax on all of our salaries. So, I'll leave it at that. Go from there.
Any questions for Jim on superintendent? Board chairs report. We are now entering into another calendar year. We had our first look at what our robotic season is going to be. It was quite exciting to have that reveal. So I imagine our high school robotics team is hard at work trying to figure out what they're going to do. We are also engaged in several athletic items, but for me, the one that was the most interesting is I got a chance to go to my first cheering competition this last weekend. Up to this point, all of the cheering I've ever seen has been at a basketball or a football game. I've never actually experienced one of those meets, and it is something to behold. If you have never been to one, I would encourage you to go see it because it is really quite the event. Stu Marcoon was the MC for the event. It's held elsewhere. It's really quite something. So I just wanted to let you all know about that event. Our girls did very well. they're quite the team. And if you want to go see them, you can press Kyle this week. One link.
What would that be, PPC or something?
I think that is.
So that's my report. For committee reports, we've got Ricky.
Sure, we just had our meeting the other day. We had Mr. Ward talk about the new revised schedule. There's a current like trial schedule happening with the is it just the eighth graders? Or seventh and eighth? Like a waterfall schedule that's not working super great. There are some aspects that are working, some that are not, so they're gonna tweak it again so that it will change again next year. And they presented that to us and they'll probably go either this meeting or next more in depth on that, but it looked very good. We saw a draft of the school calendar and that will likely go in front of the board for approval by March. Again, a lot of it has to do with our link to the technical center and being similar to them only by 5 days. I think we can have different. Then we had an attendance and truancy update that was given by Christina. And the good news is our truancy cases are lower now. But we're gonna still continue to follow this because we still, like everybody, have a problem with truancy. And then we got some district updates that we were getting a little bit of money allocated to RSU 25, maybe more, maybe he did get more. I think you maybe heard by now. I don't know, probably Christina will talk about that, I'm thinking. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, that was basically it. It was a good meeting.
If I may add, that 5-day differential, that's not just for Bucksville High School, that's for all.
All schools is affiliated with the technical center. Sorry, I was not clear about
I
that.
just want to make sure in case, probably have a very large audience, I just want everybody.
There's a
Aware of
main
that.
state rule that if you are affiliated with a technical center, your schedule has to mimic that technical center with, you can have 5 days difference. So,
Overall. So we can have 5 days, then NBI had 5 separate days and some are 5
so
separate.
it really has to be a collaborative effort if everybody's gonna be involved in the same technical center.
Yeah, and that's to ensure that kiddos who take CTE programming have continuity in programming and are given a full solid program. So it makes sense. And Hancock County was the first county in the state of Maine to meet that requirement. And we have accomplished it since. It's a good sign of a healthy working relationship.
Absolutely.
Any questions for Kurt? Finance Committee, we met right before this meeting. Katie has hurt her elbow, so we're short on a couple of the reports. So we did not review food service or the senior center. We did look at the regular budget to actual. As you can imagine, in January, we should be somewhere around the 50% mark. There are only a few spots that we are over the 50. All of the rest we are well over our budget range. The few that are over, you probably already heard about before, where we have debt service and capital, just slightly over on system administration. When I say slightly, it's what, 1-2%,
1.6%.
1.6%.
It's to about $3,000. It's not even.
Yeah, we're not gonna, be in real trouble.
Not gonna break it back.
Any questions on finance? We've got policy.
Policy we did meet and we bring forward tonight the suite of the recognition policies. JMA been working on those for the last 2-3 months and have something tonight to bring forward to the board.
Questions, policy? We've got facilities.
We met on Thursday with Anthony. He updated us on the DIMS. DIMS is now in phase 2. Phase 2 has started. We talked about the storm damage before that day and it was pretty minimal. The greenhouse roof had a minor leak, but Scott said it's fixed now. And the high school had a small issue with a lobby end basket safety strap. That's a minor thing, but we were talking about that tonight, how it seems to be in place still, so we might want to talk about getting that tightened up a little bit, I don't know.
It's the angle of that is always a problem.
Yeah,
And it's kind of,
but it's drooping
Is there
more
belly?
than flag.
Isabella, you can be
signs can even, because what happens in an early game, if the ball should go up and hit that strap, it's out of bounds.
And
So then the other
it's
team
kind of
gets the ball.
unnecessary to be there.
Unless you're playing basketball, it's as much as
Right. The purchase bids for the new tractor close on January 31st. The Jewish school water test, results came back. Two of the drinking sources passed the test, and the two other non-drinking sources, numbers were a little bit high for potability. Priorities for 2024, the number one priority, Anthony said, was the Miles Lane booster pump. I guess it's around $60,000. Also, they discussed again, the 4 different options for the Miles Lane oil tank replacement. That's about it.
Any questions with facilities? Next, we've got HCTC.
We did not meet.
That's good. Now we can move on to old business, which we've got none. And we've got new business, we have some personnel.
We have two retirements, longtime staff members both at the high school. Joe Pelletier, our welding instructor, is going to be retiring at the end of this year, as well as Steve Leonard, our lead custodian here at the high school. Both gentlemen are positive impacts on the school culture.
Absolutely.
I move that we accept their resignation with extreme regret. Yeah,
Second.
the relationships they have made have been outstanding.
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion? That is unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have some nominations for coaches.
We do have some nominations. I have Amber McGuire, BMS B team volleyball coach. Joanna Stiles, PHS track and field volunteer. Kenzie Fitzpatrick, BMS cheerleader, volunteer. Jesse Gale, BMS wrestling volunteer. And Danielle Hawkins, BMS wrestling volunteer.
Move that we accept the nominations as a block.
Second,
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion? That is unanimous. Thank you again. Now is the time for our annual election, board officers, chair and vice chair for the calendar for the fiscal year, February 2024 to January 2025. Do we have anyone interested in running or be nominated co-chair?
I nominate Tom Foster as the board chair.
Okay, so I accept that. Have anyone else who'd like to run?
Did you have a second? Or was it- Okay.
Not that I don't second.
I heard a voice over there. I couldn't tell which one.
I think you're doing a great job, Tom, so you should just keep going.
Are you interested in continuing on?
I will continue. Like putting up with them. All right, so no one else is running, do we bother to vote? Well,
Yes, you should.
okay, we should. All those in favor? Thank you very much.
Stuck by on that one.
Yeah, again, okay. And then you would look for a nomination of the vice chair.
well, I know you need David Burgess if he would.
Yes, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second for Dave. Is there anyone else who wants to run?
No.
No, all right, then all those in favor of David Burgess, and that is also unanimous.
You just spot it.
I have no control
You
over.
spot it.
He may have
Several
spotted.
times.
Okay.
It's a reflex.
You never know, Hans. As mine is on. Thank you very much. And now we will move on to annual review and assignment of board members. What's that?
Now, this has me listed on curriculum committee. I had no idea that I was on the curriculum committee.
We've been marking you absent every week.
So that's why you haven't been there.
Let's be all, can you still have David on there too? He'll finally make it off.
Over on that committee. It does, yeah, so that puts us over a quorum on the committee too, so. Not
The
sure.
curriculum committee is the one that everybody else seems to want to be in.
Well, it also has me on the finance, and I'm here a lot during that time, but I've never really been formally.
I think a lot of us are.
Well, I think that helps us to have a finance committee.
Okay. I don't
Your
know.
signatures on the warrant are very much.
Okay, well.
So what
I'll stay right
I'm
there.
hearing is Finance Committee is Mr. Foster, Mr. Frazier, Mr. Coe. Did I miss anybody?
Okay, anybody else want to learn wonderful worlds of finance?
Do you want me to be here since I'm usually here anyway? Is that too many? I'm only
That wouldn't get us all.
6:33.
I would like to be, but I can't because that would put us over.
I have a small town.
No, that does put us over.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what it's on.
6:33 more.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm the only one that I'm.
I mean, you're here anyway half the time, aren't you? No.
Yeah, that would be-
Okay, I'll just sit back and listen once in a while.
Half.
All right. So Curriculum Committee,
We have pretty good Kieran.
uh,
We're over.
I've heard there was a large move to take Kieran off that.
Yeah. We want him on.
Okay.
Or at the meeting.
Okay, so.
Do you want to-
He's either way.
Do you want to be on?
He can't be on it because I think that puts you.
Oh,
I can
never mind.
pull- I can pull back. Cause that's the last one of that day, right?
It is.
Do you want me to pull back so you can be on it, Karen?
It's at 6:30 on the second Thursday of.
But you're already
It
here.
immediately follows the policy committee
It
usually,
does.
right?
Yes.
Well, no,
Oh,
the
facilities.
Aspire only has Abby anyway. I'm on the Aspire, so I could do facilities in Aspire. And you can have curriculum if you really wanna be there. I'll pull out, that's
But
fine.
you will have an hour in between,
Yeah.
which is not like super ideal.
It's up to you.
I think you're doing fine.
Okay.
Great.
I will take a long night that night, thank you.
I'll amend that then,
She's gonna relax it.
And add me to Aspire while you're at it.
okay? So we also have now facility. Scott, Dan, Kieran, and Alicia. That is within. Oh, so you're fine?
everybody good with facilities stuff?
Policy, you have Dave, Kieran, Keith, and Dan, and that's under his phone.
Very good there. All right.
HCT advisory board is Scott.
And that's gonna stay that way.
Scott, you can't have.
I'm not gonna say a word.
Gosh. And
We
the
can't
Aspire,
lose yet. That demonstrates your value.
Inspire advisory board is Abby and Alicia, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So all good with that?
Yeah, cause I'm just gonna stay the whole night that night.
Get one, get it done, one and done.
Yeah, and that's the second Thursday of every month, right?
Yep.
Second Thursday.
Okay,
Just cause,
we'll make the adjustments and I'll ask Sue to do it so I don't screw it up, because that's what usually happens.
Now, we have that transportation, but that's really not.
That is a really long night.
David and I were on.
Well, yeah, that's a good
What I
point,
mean,
we
I
can put
think
that
I-
on here,
I
we
might
should put that
drop out
on
of
there.
facility.
I was just about to suggest.
I'm gonna drop out of facilities. It's a long night for me.
Okay,
You're gonna drop out?
And we do have.
It's really boring for a girl.
A lot of representation on that.
You can't have a good.
Just because it's a really long night, and my dog is really important.
so the board for Hancock County Educational Service Center is currently David and Scott. And RSU 25 has 2 seats on that advisory board,
What is it?
Hancock County Educational Service Center.
I don't
That's
have.
not on here.
It's not on here,
Okay, we just.
it'll be added.
When do they meet?
When we call meetings,
Yeah, it's only a couple, yeah.
It's only a couple of times.
3 times a year max.
3 times a year.
I wanna be on it.
Want to be on it? Okay,
Yeah, I just dropped facilities.
so we gotta kick one of these 2 guys off, because you're only allowed 2 people on that.
Oh, never mind.
Shocking.
Wait, when,
I was hoping.
I'll fill in for Scott for HCTC
What happened?
and stuff when he finally gets out of here, but,
Like, when I'm finally gone, right?
yeah, but he can stay. We like him.
And you have one other one. This one has been hotly contested, so I'm gonna throw it out there to back off and let the bird fly. Spruce, which is the Southern Penobscot Regional programming for children with exceptionalities. That's our regional service center on the upper side of the river. And we are allowed one board member on that. David is a representative on that, and that meets about 3 times a year,
4 times a
3,
year,
4 times a
6
year.
o'clock on a Thursday night and better.
I'm good.
Free.
Much like the board chair and the vice board chair, you may keep that.
Yeah. And once we get by the second reading of the JMAs, we're gonna have another subcommittee that's gonna come out of that. So,
What's that?
Oh, right, the selection committee.
I wanna be on that. I like selecting.
let's get through the policies first.
Gotta get the policy first and second reading first
I
before we
like
can do that.
selecting.
Excellent. Well, there you go, Doc. You got that figured out.
All right.
Right.
Very much.
Well, actually, I thought there was a subcommittee of it.
But
So there's a subcommittee
That's
determined by the
it's not a
subcommittee.
committee.
It's a group, right? It's a
All
selection.
right, so we're okay, we'll get into that after the two calls.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're good with that.
We can test it in the policy.
So then next, we're gonna, set up dates for our budget workshops.
Typically, we would meet usually a week before February vacation. But given our current situation with the business manager on the injured reserve list, I don't know if people know, Katie had a bit of a bumble last night, slipped and hurt her elbow significantly. We don't know how badly she's been incommunicado today. She has to go to the orthopedic surgeon tomorrow. So we canceled. I had 3 meetings set up with principals and start building the budget. She's not there, so gonna kind of put that on hold for a little while. So if we could table this.
All good with tabling?
Yeah.
Good. Next, we can move on to first reading of policies. Bring us into that JMA.
Infamous JMA. This has been an ongoing work, and it's been good work, good conversation. And what was once 7 policies, we whittled down to 4. Okay, and we've clarified it, and I think it's pretty darn good work, if I do say so myself. So what we have is JMA recognition of alumni, community members, and benefactors. JMAA, which is the policy that defines the Golden Bucks Hall of Fame. JMAA-F, which is the Golden Bucks Hall of Fame nomination form. And JMAAA, Golden Bucks Hall of Fame selection and recognition procedures. The policy committee members would like to speak to this, but
These policies, we did put together through a lot of collaboration and healthy conversation around how to recognize, who to recognize, and how to whittle down the selection process for that recognition. This policy took a lot of contribution from committee members and local contributors because of the fact that unlike a lot of our other policies where we're going off of a predetermined recommendation from state law or federal law where we're really kind of tied into a corner, this is a fully in-house home brewed policy, if you will. And I think that it is fantastic. It goes a long way towards tying the community together and bringing everybody back into the school communities as one. I think it's great.
One of the goals of this was try to break it down, make it so that it's a little more clear. Less cumbersome.
Loose ends.
We originally had verbiage around the Hall of Fame for recognition of athletics and the Wall of Fame for academics and the arts. And this just kind of melts them together and we're recognizing everybody at the same way at the same time. It's just, and we need to get this process back up and going, and Mr. Tripp and I were all set to have a meeting and then COVID happened. So we've had people, we had at least one nomination, maybe more in place. And we're trying to get this jump started. It didn't happen, and then after COVID decided we needed to go back through and rewrite the policy, better reflect on what we were doing in the direction we wanted to head. So this is the outcome of those conversations. It takes a lot, it took a lot out of those 7 and kind of whittled it down to what we wanted to do. Just a question, try to answer those. That was the reason behind it. We need to get this process back up and running. The last recognition has been at least 5 years. Since we've done this, so it's time.
Questions or comments? Ask for a motion. Look for a motion to pass these policies, along.
So moved.
Second? Only second.
All those in favor? That is unanimous.
Thank you.
Next, we have second reading of policies.
So these 2 policies, you had first reading last month, they're passed unanimously, there are no changes. They're back for you for the final second reading. Yeah,
Motion. No, you go ahead.
No, okay, I move that we accept the second reading of the policies as listed.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. It's unanimous.
Thanks, Scott.
Now it's time for our administrative reports. Stephen? They give me a little cheat sheet, so that's why I tried to stick to that, but I couldn't see Christine, so I wasn't sure she was here, so that's what I did.
No problem. So you have a copy of my report. Particularly, just wanted to make sure that you saw the section on the literacy grant opportunity that Abby mentioned that we talked about at the curriculum steering committee. If you have specific questions about the literacy grant, I'd be happy to answer those, but we have been allocated right now $72,538. She mentioned that could change. That's because district superintendent had to say yes or no to accepting the allocation by last Friday. And they are going to let us know if there were districts that said no, they will shift those district allocations, spread them out among the districts that said yeah. So right now, you haven't heard anything more, have you, Jim?
No, other than you said yes.
We've said yes. And so that means that I will write the application. It's a tight turnaround as I outlined in my report for you, but it's very specific what it can be used for. Basically for literacy supplies in the classroom for student use, for professional development opportunities for general education teachers in tier 1. Tier 1 services, meaning the services we provide to all kids, not just for. So it's a gift, but it's a quick turnaround time. So we have to have all the money spent on September 30th. I can't even write the application until another week and a half because it won't be open. So thank you, state of meeting, but if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy.
So these Title I services, since they're one-time purchase, I imagine, not positions, these.
No, we have to expend these monies by the 30th of September. We have to have them expended by the 30th and invoiced completely, everything paid by like December 30th. So we can't even, like, the PD has to happen by September 30th. The resources have to be purchased. We can't use it for personnel.
So it will be like materials.
Yeah, materials and professional development.
And the timing is really good because they've changed. Pendulum has swung and we need some materials to sort of be able to utilize that, so.
It will be great to, I guess what I would say, outfit especially our pre-K to 2 classrooms we did a chunk of that last year when we rewrote the curriculum. We can really enhance the decodable text that we have in our kids' hands in the pre-K to 2 level. And, the current research is that 50% of what they have in their book baskets or in their reading bags should be decodable. So text that kids have learned the letters and sounds and can sound them out. And that's a shift, right, from what most schools have been doing recently. So this money will definitely allow us to do that.
Christina likes to apply for things in really short amounts of time, so it'll be perfect.
Love it. We'll get it done.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next I have on the list, Karen.
Starting that out. Good evening, everyone. I will be brief. You have my report. The two things that I would highlight for you, is that the first is that the special education services team has, facilitated 86, or will have facilitated by the end of January, 86 IEPs and 504 meetings. This month. And the other thing that I'm really excited about, you learned about at the last board meeting, but I wasn't here to jump up and down about it, is the Y swimming program that we have started for our life-centered learners. We have students from grades 1 through 12 plus who are attending swim lessons monthly, free of charge through the YMCA in Ellsworth, and we are really excited about that. They are, so these guys always get to put cute pictures of kids in their board reports, and I rarely get to do that, but I got to do it this time. I was so excited about that, so if you have any questions.
Josh isn't here, so next I have Aaron.
Good evening, happy new year. Copy of my reports. I would like to highlight a little bit what Abby talked about with the new schedule. Really excited about that. Lots of hard work went in. A big thanks to Christina for all her help and whatnot as well. As we mentioned, we took the elements of the pilot schedule, the 7-8 schedule that we're piloting this year with the increased social emotional learning and those sorts of things on relationships and whatnot and intervention and buck time, and combine it with some needs for more instructional time. And we've been able to do that, and we have consistency. It's simple, and at the end of the day, it's really what's best for kids. So we're really excited to have that. And I went into greater detail, and certainly will answer any questions which you may have in my report for that. We're also gearing up for our winter Nuitas. Really excited about that. That will take place February 5th through the 9th at the middle school. We are trying student goal setting, so our teachers and students have been working really hard at setting goals over the last couple of weeks. And really, simply put, we're trying to make the connection between what we do in class and how that lines up with the testing, in the hopes that, these things all come together and it really kind of aligns nicely. So students are setting goals, and then teachers are saying, well, hey, this class helps you get to that goal, right? So the hope is that that will increase everyone's kind of attention and effort on our Nuitas, and we're excited about, that coming up in February. Last piece really quick is our PBIS update. Lots of really positive there. I did share a copy of our behavior matrix, which we're going to start rolling out with our staff and students starting next week. We're going to focus on each element of the matrix, starting with our hallways. We've involved students in the process of that in terms of modeling those expectations. So our student council, our IT classes have made videos kind of demonstrating how you go about walking in the hallway, how you don't walk in the hallway. So they were really great, and they had a good time doing it, so especially modeling the ways not to do it. So it's really great, and we're going to start that process. And then every 2 weeks, we'll fold in a new element of the rubric. Most likely the cafeteria will be next, work our way to like recess and whatnot. And hopefully the next couple of months have some consistent expectations around how we do things, which can only help our learning. So really excited about that. Co-curricular, extracurriculars are going great. Happy to answer any questions if you have
Questions? Is the robotics kicked off for the middle school?
Yes, so we have a competition coming out in Bangor in February. I'm not sure exactly if that's coming. So, and the numbers are still great. We have around 25, 30 kids participating. So,
Great. Well, hope to do well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next I've got Darcy.
Good evening, everybody. So we've had a lot of fun things going on in our building. Just want to share some highlights. We had a big planetarium dome set up in our gym. last week. And our Wing 1 students got to experience that with John Meter from Northern Stars. Tom, you're gonna love this. Our Wing 2 first and second graders are learning about finance. So they are, they are taking their, they have one learning lab a week, and that's what they're doing. They're rotating through finance stations. And I got to observe those yesterday, and they're learning about opportunity cost, wants and needs. And the kids are extremely engaged. They love it. The activities are great, and they're paired with books related to those topics. PBIS update, quick update. We have 155 positive office referrals since the first day of school. So those are still coming in strong. The kids get so excited and get those. Student councils planning another fundraiser after school at night. On a Friday night, this will be the fourth grade social. So the students will have a winter wonderland social with music, lights, hot cocoa, games, activities. And Jim's excited. That'll be great.
Great opportunity.
And then thanks to Aspire, we're really excited to announce that we have Rob Surratt. Some of you might remember Rob Surratt. He came to the middle school a long time ago. He's the speed painter. He speed paints to music. He'll be coming in March for our K-4 students. And we also were able to get Alexandra Henricks, who wrote The Lobster Lady, and she'll be visiting us in April. And then finally, Versant Power is going to be visiting our fourth graders, and they will be doing some electrical safety lessons. And these are aligned with the state of Maine Next Gen Science standards. And I think they plan on bringing one of those little mini towns where they demonstrate safety electrical hazards. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you.
All I can think of is commercial. Remember, it's never safe to touch a down power line ever.
While Kathy's moving up to the podium, I just do want to point out for Nicole's report, the meeting we had with the town of Bucksport for the primary voting, and really doing a planned event, making sure that the environment is safe and positive. So kiddos won't be in school that day, staff will be. The town has got a pretty good organized plan, so I appreciated that communication between the entities.
Well, I just want to mention, if I mentioned in my report, we had our blood pressure clinic last night. And we were a little nervous because half our class was out sick, but turned out with the weather, half of the participants canceled. So it worked out really well. It was still a wonderful opportunity for those that were there. We're going to keep that going as long as we can. And the only other thing that isn't in my report is we've just been doing a lot of work with our new employee, contacting teachers to get the enrichment program back going, making sure that they're comfortable with us being in their classrooms. We have a lot of our enrichment instructors who are ready to come back. And we're gearing up pretty well for that. And we'll hope to have much bigger schedule for you this spring and definitely for fall. Some of them are waiting. Any questions on my report?
Thank you. Next I've got Jen Terry.
Oh, well, there's a couple of here. I can tell you a couple of things that happened to it in the high school that we were part of. The first being, today was the second day at the high school of internship presentations for the semester. So Jordan and I were both able to be part of that, along with guidance counselors, and Dr. Tripp and Mr. Magus joined us, and sometimes the partner would join as well. So we had 7 presentations, all very well done, and we were really pleased to see the quality of experiences that the students were able to get this semester for their internships. And there should be about that many again that are about to start for the spring semester. At Jewett, last week we were able to go over there and be part of their day that was Aspire funded, Lynn Ford's visit for the kindergarten, all kindergartners and small groups got to do a writer's workshop with Lynn. So, she's been to the school in past years, but she's at, has 42 books at this point. So she's, very established author and she was really great with the kids, walking them through her book, and then helping them learn how they could, as writers, think about adding on to her story. So that was great. You all know what the character element videos, those continue. This is the last year of character element videos because we will have done all 3 years for Miles Lane. So Jordan is wrapping those up. She just did interviewed Dean Martin from Fort Knox for the character element of wisdom. So that one's coming right out. And we also were able to help, I shouldn't say I went along for the ride. The anatomy and physiology class last week got to piggyback on the biology students' trip up to UMaine. And it was, instead of just doing a tour, they were able, the sophomores went to 4 different parts of campus and did hands-on activities in different labs on campus. And then I was with the anatomy and physiology students and they were able to go to see 2 sites on campus. So that was a really nice, little more detailed trip than what we've been able to do with just the general tours. And newsletter will be out tomorrow. I think that's it. Any questions?
I know at one point you were trying to get funded for another year because of the whole COVID debacle. Has that gone through or is there any update on that?
I have no update.
Okay.
We're hoping to hear very soon. I did reach out. There was supposed to be discussions this week. I have not heard the outcome of those discussions.
We still have another year of student experience money and 1 position money for sure. It was the additional. Please.
We were trying to get two personnel.
There's 2 of
for another-
us
I'm
now.
just trying to-
There's 2 of us now, and mine started first, so mine phases out first.
What we request is an extension of Jen's position, not necessarily the money for the additional, but the money to provide support for the work she's doing. We still have work that needs to be done. We feel COVID disrupted that process. So I think we put together a good presentation. It's out of our hands there. In the hands of the fathers.
Good luck.
If you suddenly don't see me here.
No, it didn't go well.
And lastly, I have Jim Moore.
And behind the curtain. We don't saw her or something. Thank for a better entrance.
The board report was in, you had a couple extra days to read through it, so if you have any questions.
into it now.
He went ahead and walked you out.
I couldn't get into anything.
Any questions from the report or other items for potential issues? Good, thank you. All right.
Now we have calendar and announcements. We have curriculum as of February 8th, 6:30 central office. Policy to be determined.
Yep, and we will need to meet, policy to bring forward. And typically that would be on the 12th. Or 13th is Tuesday.
Policy.
On the 19th, first week.
So we'll meet February 13th.
Finance committee and school board meeting, February 27th, right here. Starting at 5:30 for the finance and 6 o'clock for the school.
Please note that's a week later than typical because of the February vacation. Do the same thing again in April.
Facility.
Doctor said that we should interfere with the basketball game.
Right. Facilities is at February 8th, 4:30 central office. Aspire is also February 8th, 5:30 central office. Any others? No. All right. I would look for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you very much.